found out a whole lot of things that I didn't know. And
you are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Long live Pop. Y'all can go ahead and cry now. I'm gonna show these niggas what to do with one of your beats, man. I am Gas, by the way. Strong woman story should have been on CNN. Nobody knows what it's like being Gwen. Windows closed in the house, it ain't no CNN. Can't gain weight for years, she been being thin. Single mother, no help from the system. When they was giving out food stamps, she missed them. Birth certificate, baby daddy, she couldn't list them. But her son was so beautiful when she kissed him. Blame it on love, but nigga she could've died with. Destroyed the whole world and found out she was a side chick. The nigga loved his wife and it got hard to hide it. So when Gwen confronted him, he ain't even denied it. Her fault, depends on who you asking. She tried to be a stripper, but the tip out was taxing. Buying all the purses, trying to keep up with the fashion. And her mama hated baby sitting with a passion. She deserved better circumstances. A black queen, she should've been blessed with certain chances. Looked down upon, getting all the hurting glances. Making men change up all the twerking stances. She never cried about the pain, only gritted her teeth. But most soldiers never get a flower or a wreath. She like G.I. Jane in the war with no relief. Don't recognize why killers was going through her beat. She said more prayers than the nun did. After seeing so much struggles with only one kid, the clinic said baby number 2 couldn't be undid. 9 months later, delivery and it's one big. But this time it was an older dude. But the shit happened so fast, she barely know the dude. Damn, but we all make mistakes though. And the older we get, that's how mistakes go. So he claimed the baby, now with no money. He said shit was hard and his dollars was kinda funny. Real was feeling like that was strike 2. So when it rains and pours, that's just how life do. She was thinking about her childhood and how life flew. Her daddy she always loved, but she never quite knew. This was before the bags and the cellulite grew. Other bitches in her shoe, no telling what they might do. You lose a lot of friends, they start to despite you. Passing judgment when they don't got the right to. And even though I love the gangsters, the same for the gangsters. I remember you no matter how big the fame gets. Paint a perfect picture, baby you can frame this. As long as I'm slapping, you will never be named.
And we're back with more Cheryl Underwood Radio.
Thank you, super producer. In case you missed it, somebody said something to me about being ashy over the week, right? And I didn't say anything. I'm learning how to not say anything until I feel how I can use it, because I was ashy. Well,
what?
Well, no, what happened? Okay, this leads into our discussion. What do we do over the weekend? So you remember I had to fly back and forward to somewhere because I'm getting ready for the game show that I'm about to do, and they haven't told me when I can say what the name of the game show is or anything. So once they tell me when I can say it, I will say it. So anyway, so I'm racing to get back from one city to come back into LA to do this meeting, then to go back out into another city, right? You know how when you wash up, you washing up but then you don't have a lot of lotion, right? So I think, it ain't gonna be no big deal. So when I come back, I'll tighten it up. But then also I wash my hands in the bathroom of the airport, right? So okay, so my hands was ashy, right? And somebody said you have to do something about your ashiness.
What?
Wow.
And for me, no, somebody I haven't worked with, but I'm just getting ready to work with, and so my thing was, do I snap right now or do I wait? Because y'all know, Kyle and Courtney, y'all know what I'm trying to avoid. Do I pop off right now, or do I wait? And so this is what I said. I said I got a trick to that, which I do. Sometimes I want to come in when I'm changing my clothes to go on camera. I want to come in one way so that I'll be fresh when I'm on camera. Right. So I may jump out the shower and just come straight to the studio. That's what I mean by this.
Everything.
Absolutely, Harry Sutherland. So let me get it right. 1-855-SHOW-1. If somebody says something about you that don't know you, should you pop them in the mouth first and go, I know this man, or really cut their throat? Or did I do the right thing by pulling back and going, hey, I got a trick to that, which I do. which I do. I know I'm half explaining it, but I'm gonna explain it once I see this person again even better. So just remember this. Anyway, so what y'all do over the weekend? Because I know who I was with. I was with Vicky Harris.
That sounds like an alibi. I know who I was with. I was with Vicky Harris. You can ask him. Call him right now.
Okay, so first place we went was NABJ.
That's right.
Okay. I don't know who gonna tell the story. Harry, you
what
tell
city
the
was it in, Cheryl?
It was in where were we? Miami, right?
Miami.
Right. Okay. So me and Vicky, Harry, right? So I would just say, got to the hotel. Hotel was wonderful. Took me a nap. Had everything laid out. Was ready where I needed to go. The National Association of Black Journalists. I had a great time. Okay, Harry, would you like to break down what happened, or should we go to break and try to figure out how we gonna talk about any of this?
Let's go to break.
Okay, we gonna go to break. Okay, but when we come back, what did we do over the weekend? We went from the NABJ to the Congressional Black Caucus Policy Institute event in Tunica, Mississippi.
Right.
Then I went back to LA for a meeting for the game show I'm doing. Then I came back, Jim Kelly. I came back to go to A. Philip Randolph Institute in Minneapolis.
Right.
So I've already set it up. Somebody text messaging me and going, but you know you be ashy. Why are you sensitive?
I got a good picture of you asking.
Oh God!
I just sent it to you.
Okay. We gonna talk about it. We gonna talk about it. And then Harry, for your segment, we may add some stuff into your segment because I want to make an announcement in your segment. Okay,
you got it.
Okay. So we'll be right back with more Cheryl Underwood Radio.
Hey, this is Kyle Irby, and it's time for your MRA Minute on Cheryl Underwood Radio. Today on the show, we've been talking about President Trump and how he said Colin Kaepernick will play in the NFL again, quote unquote, if he's good enough. He said only if he's good enough. If he was good enough, they'd hire him. Why wouldn't he play if he wasn't good enough? That is absolutely hilarious for you to act like you don't know why Colin Kaepernick is not playing. It's because your friends won't let him play. Your friends blocked him out the league, and that is why they had to pay him money, because a court found that they were blocking him out of the league. Now he's been sitting out the league for 3 years, and now you want to say that he should be able to play if he's good enough? That's a joke. It's absolutely a joke. Ladies, gentlemen, instead of continuing to hate on President Trump, that's old. That's easy. Let's learn from the president. That's right. That's what I said. Let's learn from him, because what does he do? He creates his own reality. We know the truth about what he's saying. We know the truth about what he does, but he creates his own narrative. Like, we know he fixed the election. What does he say? No, I didn't. That had nothing to do with me. All right, well, when your lady catches you with somebody else, say, no, I didn't. That had nothing to do with me. When they ask him about his tax return, I don't know what you're talking about. That's the same thing you say when your boss catches you for being late. Hey, was you late today? I don't know what you're talking about. Or how about how we keep firing people for no reason? All right? You can use that with your kids. Your kids don't agree with you, you can just fire on them. No, I'm just joking. Do not fire on your kids or being stupid. People, you got to create your own reality. All right? If we can learn one thing from the president in the White House, let it be this. Fake it till you make it. That's enough for now. If you want to hear more, you can always get 60 minutes of MRA mannishness on the MRA podcast with Kyle and Kamal, available on Apple or wherever you get your podcast. And of course, I can be found on The World According to Cheryl. If you have something to say, reach out to me. I'm at Kyle Irby on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and always on my website at kyleirby.com. Ladies, I love you. Fellas, be a man at all times.
And we're back with more Cheryl Underwood Radio.
Thank you, super producer. Hey, we're in the sports bar where men come to talk and women come to eavesdrop. There's protesting over at the Pan Am Games. Jim Kelly, what happened?
Cheryl, 2 protests at the Pan Am Games. One, Gwen Berry, who throws the women's hammer, and another dude named Race and Bowden, who is a fencer. They both took knees over all of the issues going on in the country right now.
And what makes this significant, the young lady, you talking about the sister?
Yep. Gwen.
She evoked, what is it, Brother Carlos? And
Tommy Smith and John Carlos.
That's right. That's right. From the Olympics of 1960, was it 69?
68 in Mexico.
68 yep. Olympics in Mexico, where they threw up the power fist. Harry Sutherland. Well, this sister, she put up the power fist, and then for the young redhead young guy, took a knee like Colin Kaepernick. And what makes this what the reason we're telling this story, one, I'm glad that the protests are coming, and they have to come, because we got to keep this discussion in the forefront of what's happening in our country, and also what's happening around the world. Especially what's going on in Sweden, and how the right wing is going throughout the world and making people fear each other, making people xenophobic. So we got to keep that discussion out there. But did President Trump say he won't Colin Kaepernick back in the NFL, or did he say he was good enough? If he's good enough, what did he say? What happened?
Yeah, he put that on the end of it, but he said he'd be happy for him to get back. So Colin tweeted last week basically the thing like still ready, waiting for a call, blah blah blah. So some of the reporters obviously asked President Trump that, and to the surprise he said he'd love to see him, but then he threw on only if he's good enough. Which,
yeah, it's like a backhanded compliment. Kyle, what you think?
I was fake, Underwood. Let me tell you what he did. What he did is he knows Colin Kaepernick's not getting back in the league. His time is done. His ship is sailed. He hasn't played in too long. It's not going to happen. So what he did was he made it seem like if he were good enough, he'd play. But the truth is he's not playing because there's been a political thing against him to stop him from playing. And we've all seen this for years. And let's not act like it's not political, because it is. And yes, you have friends in NFL, and that's probably one of the reasons why he never played again.
Right. And then Harry, what you find out is they had to settle because they didn't want the testimony to come out that they pretty much all got together, which is the collusion and the conspiracy to keep this brother from playing. But there were some owners that didn't want this to happen, but they couldn't override the ones that were cool with doing President Trump's bidding. On tomorrow, we're going to talk about in a sports bar the boycotts of SoulCycle and Equinox, and why I think this is the beginning of the turn against President Trump.
Okay.
I think it's the beginning of the turn, because they're gonna start hitting people in the pocket. But with this thing with Colin Kaepernick, what was the settlement for, Harry Sutherland, as we go to break?
It was for collusion. However, it was confidential, so it was not really discussed.
Yeah, we don't
it wasn't to stop him. It wasn't from stopping him from being in the league.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
He could still get a job.
That's right.
Yep. Because Eric Reed, who was part of the settlement, he has a job. So it's Colin's the only one that doesn't have the job. So
doesn't have a job. Get one. But there's more to it.
It's like Kyle said, he's the scapegoat though for the
scapegoat.
Yeah.
Especially the excuse, Cheryl. Especially the part of if he's good enough. I mean, anybody, you can't argue that. Everybody knows he's good enough. I mean, that just doesn't fly. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think it's a blemish on the NFL.
It really is.
And speaking of a blemish, we'll talk about. Excuse me, I'm choked up. What happened to my Rams? What happened to my Rams? Oh my gosh. In the preseason on tomorrow, because I can't face it today. I can't face it. So we will be talking preseason on tomorrow in the sports bar. We're coming to talk. We're coming to eavesdrop. We got to come out of this break, because isn't it time for Kyle Irby's Male Race Activist Minute?
Sure is.
All right, we'll be right back. More Cheryl Underwood Radio.
And we're back with more Cheryl Underwood Radio.
Thank you, super producer. Hey, we're in the sports bar. We're men come to talk and women come to eavesdrop. The phone lines are open to you, 1-855-SHERYL1, or you can email us at SherylUnderwoodRadio.com, and follow us on all of our social media, because Courtney Black has the facts when she shout out everybody on all of our social media. Underwood Radio, Twitter, Cheryl Underwood Radio, Facebook, Instagram, and then we got the World According to Cheryl, the podcast of Cheryl Underwood Radio, so you can take Cheryl Underwood Radio with you wherever you go. Tomorrow we're gonna do catch up on all our political stuff, catch up on all our entertainment, and catch up on all of our sports, and we got some announcements of some new things that are going to happen with Cheryl Underwood Radio. I told you all of August we are going to innovate and evolve. And so I'm really, really happy about the things that are happening to our show, and I think you're going to enjoy things that are happening in our show. And there are also going to be changes in all of our production, and we got some partnerships that are coming that I think you're going to appreciate. So we were talking about, I'm trying to get my crew to go to the movies more often. because then we could know what's happening in the movies, and then we could discuss it on the show. Which we got to get James Brown to come back because he goes to see all the
he goes all the time,
all the movies. But Kyle, you were comparing the kitchen, and the reason we're doing it in the sports bar where men come to talk and women come to eavesdrop is because here are three females in a movie: Elizabeth Moss, Tiffany Haddish, and Melissa McCarthy. In a movie that people are hopeful that women could take the lead in action films, right? You said they kind of missed the mark, but I thought you said the Widows missed the mark for
I
you
didn't
too?
like Widows at all. Now, this was better than Widows to me. I didn't like Widows because, like I said,
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Finished up at Stony Brook my last year, and that kind of changed the trajectory of like my career path. Okay. You know, I was going to be an entertainment lawyer. You know, you saw all the internships I did, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to be an entertainment lawyer. That's what I'm going to do with my life. And then my 1 year at Stony Brook, I fell in love with production.
Okay.
And falling in love with, that's where I got the internship at MSNBC for the Don Imus show. If you guys remember her from Nappy Headed Hose. Yes, exactly. So
we're not going to beat that out. Hey, Nappy Headed Hose.
Yeah, so from there I fell in love with production, and I started producing all of the shows that was at Stony Brook. And my mom, I had graduated, and my mom ended up moving to Philadelphia. So I lived in Philadelphia for 4 years. To 2000 and 2004. I started working at Good Day Philadelphia, Fox affiliate here in Philadelphia. And then I ended up working at Power 99, which is the #1 morning show and urban radio station in Philadelphia.
Oh, so I knew you were in New York. I'm a native New Yorker myself.
What part of New York?
The Bronx.
Okay, from Queens.
Yes, born and raised, and we moved on up like the Jeffersons to Long Island.
Okay.
So I am a native New Yorker
Strong
myself.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's, I think that's one of the things that we have in common.
Yes.
But as we talk and go through, I have a segment that's called a Rich Life Moment in Time.
Okay.
And we talk about when we actually first met.
Oh gosh. Okay, all right. You're gonna jog my memory on that. Okay,
yes.
All right.
I think it's hilarious.
Okay.
I do it with all my guests.
Lord.
You might not know, but I have a photographic memory.
I see, like an elephant over here.
Something like that. So tell me, we had Hump Day Wednesday.
And
how has your week been?
It's been a little crazy, but it's been better than most weeks.
Okay.
It's been better than most weeks.
What's a crazy week for? And do I call you an event planner? Is that?
I would call myself more of an event producer. We'll get into the difference between an event planner and an event producer.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do that.
Let's do that now.
Let's do that now.
So a lot of people can put on an event, right?
Okay.
Birthday party. Yep. Hey, my son's birthday party. Can you put this on? Blah blah blah. Hey, whatever. But when you're like an event producer, especially for the scale of events that I do, they're kind of more large scale conferences, about 5,000 or more people that attend some of these conventions and conferences and galas and so forth. It takes on a whole different life of its own. So you have to be in charge of the whole creative messaging and branding of the whole event. So besides just the logistics side of catering and decor and all that other stuff, you have to be in charge of what that branding and imaging and messaging and graphics and that the people that attend, you sit down with your client and you go over what their goals are. What are some of the benchmarks they hope to achieve with the event that you're putting on or conference or whatever it may be. And then you have to kind of you're taking their little idea of what they have,
right,
and then kind of more developing that and providing different resources and so I do, like I said, from A to Z. So the whole program book, what everything has to be congruent to making sure that
like the steps.
All of the steps, and for certain clients, I'll come up with educational tools that we will utilize for Baltimore City Public School System is one of my clients. And what I'll do with them is say, this is our marketing campaign. This is what we're going to. This is the social media plan that we plan to execute. This is what we plan to do as far as messaging. We're going to use this program guide as a learning tool for parents and students as they attend the event, to make sure that they're engaged, and then it's just one touch point that will lead to something that you can use throughout the year. So it goes a little bit deeper than here's
I'm having a party.
I'm having a party, and here's the music and the decor that the decor, tablecloth and linen and that kind of stuff. So that it goes a little bit deeper than that.
Okay, so typically, right? So tell us about your company and
Sonjie.
Sonjie.
Yes, Sonjie.
I'm gonna get it right before this is all said and done.
Sonjie.
But wait a minute, it's not spelled like your name though.
Yes, it is. Sonjie.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I think there's It's Sonjie.
Yeah, Sonjie.
So we might want to.
Yeah.
We might want to take a look at that. I've seen it some places.
Well, yeah, and I've spelled it AY for radio. So I have spelled it Sonjay.
Okay, so I'm not
for
tripping.
radio. Okay, yeah, you're not tripping. Yeah, you're not tripping.
All right, so I've just been notified. We got to take a quick break.
Sure.
All right. But we'll be right back. More Be Exposed Radio, living a rich life. We'll be right back.
Great.
And we're back with more Cheryl Underwood Radio.
Thank you, super producer. Hey, we're in a sports bar where men come to talk and women come to eavesdrop. Kyle Irby.
Cheryl Underwood.
You were talking about the movies that you went to see. You went to see the Brian Banks movie, which is a sports film.
Yes, it was. Really good, inspiring. Everybody, please watch it. You're going to cry, though. I'm just going to tell you right now. You're going to cry. They call me
Why am I crying? You did a Big Frost?
The Big Frost on it.
Yeah, they call me sniffle. I had to sniff a couple times. So this is the ceiling.
Jim, did you cry?
About 3 times, and then I held it in.
You, Jim?
He ain't got no feelings.
None.
Jim was a Republican.
There's 3 different times you almost cry.
Wow.
But you don't.
Jim's like the android crying.
I know.
Oh my God.
You're like an internal bleeder. Can't see your pain, but it can silently kill ya. So deeply wounded, but don't say a thing. Too afraid of what the people may say or think. So you just sit there and you suffer in silence. Your pride won't let you just uncover your secret. Don't wanna look weak in your image, it ain't worth losing. So you just act as if it's nothing happening. God sees you, and God hears you. Yes, God loves you. You're like an internal bleeder. Can't see your pain, but it can silently kill ya. Suicidal, depressed, but you won't say.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back to Living a Rich Life talk show featuring Sonjie.
Yes, which I'm always working. Sorry.
And that's okay. That's okay. So what we like to do here on the talk show is we like to play some games.
Okay. Shoot, go rock. Let's rock out.
So one game, I call it the Instagram.
Instagram. Okay, gotcha.
So what I want you to do right now, I want you to pull up your Instagram.
Got it.
Scroll through your Instagram photos. And pick a picture, and I want you to tell me why you picked that picture. Explain why you picked it. All right, ready and go.
Ready and go. Like just pick a picture now, or just stop.
Pick a picture.
Pick a picture. Okay, this is a video kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
With Kevin Hart.
All right, so she showed here. She stopped at a picture with Kevin Hart.
And The Rock. Yep.
And The Rock.
Yep.
Okay. So tell us, why did you stop at that video?
So it's so interesting about Kevin, right? So when I first moved to Philadelphia, I remember everyone saying like, "Yeah, you should have met Kevin Hart." He just left here. This is like in 2000. I moved to Philadelphia, right? So they were like, "You should meet this guy named Kevin Hart. Like he was really good because we used to have like a lot of comedians on our morning show."
Yep.
True. Toure, he's one of my favorites. Anyway, and really good friends with Kevin. And also Spank used to come on my morning show, who opens up for Kevin all the time, the Red Cup Boys. So anyway, so Dave's like, you need to meet this guy, Kevin. He just left for LA. We don't know if he's going to make it or not. Right? And then He ended up coming out with like Soul Plane, probably like a couple of years after that, and that was a flop.
Yeah,
right.
Soul Plane was.
It was really bad, right? And then, but that is an example of life.
Okay.
Right, because of the perseverance. He went out to LA on a hope and a dream, right, to be something. He gets a break with Soul Plane. That is a complete flop. And he could have packed up his bags and came back to Philadelphia.
Right, yeah.
And he did not. Okay. Right?
So ultimately, because again, I focus on change, right?
Yes.
Folks, things can change.
Yes.
And you have a decision. You can either be the victim.
Yes.
Or say, hey, you know what? I'm going to stand up and keep moving forward.
Or the victor, yeah. And it becomes a situation like, so looking at him and how his career has evolved and how he has created his own lane. And even using the social media platform to build his brand. You know, and he's married to a Baltimore girl, right? Yep. And, you know, he's used the social media platform to build his brand and then also leverage that in his deals to say, hey, you know, look at the platform that I built on my own. If you want me to use this to promote a movie, you're going to have to pay me for that. Because nobody was paying me when I was building this social media following.
Yeah, this is true. So let's talk about that, right? In your trials, your tribulations, what have you learned from 92Q? Even beforehand when you're doing the intern and you was thinking, what were some of your challenges in just the overall?
Just to be my show was let go on Power 99 in Philadelphia and in Baltimore, right?
At the same damn time?
Well, no, I moved to Philly. Okay. Was on the show, right, for 2.5 years, right, or 3 years. Worked at Power 99. That show was let go for syndication of Star and Buck Wild. Right, so I was without a job.
Okay.
Came down here to Baltimore. Was here in Baltimore on the radio for another 4 years, and that show was let go.
I do remember the show.
Yes, right? For Ricky Smiley.
Oh.
So, once again, out of my... Can I curse on here?
Yeah, you can do
Okay, out of my ass, right? So
curse on here?
That... And everyone was like, and that's kind of where I started my own business.
Okay.
And I started my own business, not even to go out on my own. It was just, I was doing some stuff for Russell Simmons and one of his partners, Will Griffin, who had an on-demand channel. This is when on-demand was just first starting.
Okay.
And they needed some content, and they used the radio station to provide them content for their hip-hop on-demand channel, right, at Comcast. Okay. So I was, booking, and I was getting all this extra income, and I didn't have, an entity set up to receive it, to claim it. So that's how I started my company. And then because I was doing some good stuff with the radio, with the morning show, other folks said, can you do this for me? Like, who was like one of the first people? Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs. Like some of their folks reached out. Can you do this for us? Can you do that for us? Right. And I was like, sure. And I started running everything through my company. And word of mouth just started to spread. Then it was Mario. Then it was Carmelo Anthony. You know what I mean? So those things just started to spread and build. But once I was on my ass again from radio, being not in control of my own destiny, even though we were the #1 morning show, I was in the middle of negotiating my new contract. And because of recession and all the things that were happening in 2008, they decided that our salaries were too high and they needed to save some money, and they got rid of a local morning show.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, which when we get to that segment of the Rich Life Moment in Time, when I met you, which I don't really remember the date, but we'll be able to put it together between the both of us. I didn't know that you were in radio. But we're gonna get to that.
Okay.
I just said, oh, okay, yeah, she needs some help, and I'm gonna help her. And one thing led to another. So okay, all right. So ultimately, just that change of
it's ebbs and flows. You know what I mean? That's life. I think sometimes you feel like you're in a bad position, and you don't see your way out. And there's some questions I know you asked within there, and I was that you said like what keeps you going, and I was like,
so
that's faith.
Faith, okay.
And once you're an entrepreneur, you have to walk on a leap of faith.
Right.
Like that's what keeps you going. If you don't have that parachute in your back as you're,
Right. Okay.
If if it's not for the weak-hearted.
Right. Yeah.
Entrepreneurship is not for the weak-hearted. Like you're gonna be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
What is this is that or the other, whatever it may be, and you have to be able to stand the test of time.
This is true. So what would you say that you're passionate about? Well, right. So you've done a lot. You work with a lot of different people. Some well-known, celebrities. Infamous, as I like to call folks. What are you really passionate about? What? It's like, hey, I'm excited about doing this, right? I mean, because I've been to some of your events.
Yes.
They've always nice, good-looking people, which I love being around good-looking people.
I like people that have great experiences.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Extraordinary experiences.
That's what I say.
Yes. So I like when people, as I said, and that's the difference between an event planner and an event producer, right? I could put together a party. Hey, there's some food there, there's this there, there's this there, yeah. But when you leave the event, how do you feel?
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. What in terms of influence, do you have some role models, mentors? I believe that most successful individuals, and I put you in that category, have a mentor or a role model, someone that kind of helps them along the way.
So I remember going to this conference, and Ariana Huffington, you guys know who that is. She's Huffington Post. Right?
Okay.
She's Huffington Post.
Okay.
Really phenomenal lady. She talked about like being like Snow White and having these little animals. Remember when Snow White was like lost in the forest?
Yes.
And then all these animals started popping up to kind of like help her along the way.
Rabbit, deer.
Yes, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Those, she said, like, those are the people in your life, They're kind of like, I mean, because I'm also a big, I love The Alchemist book, right? It's one of my favorite books.
Okay.
And it talks about omens, you know what I mean? Things that...
So you're a reader?
Oh, I'm an avid reader.
That's part of another thing.
So there's things that people... or things that happen in your life that you need to pay attention to. Right? And one of my mentors, it's just so funny, she has helped propel my career in so many different ways, and she just always has such a very giving heart. But the first time I met her was she came on my morning show, and I had her waiting forever, right? Because we were running over time, and she ended up getting pissed off and being like, I gotta go. I gotta go, right?
Been there, been there, understand.
And she was like, I gotta go. You had me waiting, you know what I mean? There, this is that, the other. And I was like, all right, you know what I mean? But, she formed a relationship with the morning show. And she always, when things happened, she was like, she offered me a job, and I was like, I'm not going back to no job. You know what I mean? I am carving out my own destiny, and me being stuck in a box of making that amount of money, like I make more than, you know what I mean? I can make more than that. Right? I'm not going, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but that's just. That's where I was. I wasn't going to sit at a desk at a city job and
just hammer it away. Yeah, that's not for everybody.
Yeah, that's not. Like, I'm a person, like, I try to look beyond the glass ceiling.
As you should. As you should. So how do you attract, other than folks reach out to you, right? But I'm sure that's not always the case.
Yeah.
How do you find your customers, your clients?
Well, I'm MBE certified, city and state.
They should be tuning in. That's what they should be.
I know. City and state, and I, go out for bids. You know what I mean? RFPs that are out there. I said word of mouth is always great. There's always, you go to different seminars, you network, you sell yourself. You tell people this is what I have to offer. So once you do that, and people see like, okay, and they see the roster and clientele that I've developed.
Yes.
And my clients have been with me for a long time. Like, my clients have been with me for 8, 9, 10,
so
you know what I mean? 5 years.
How long have you had?
Oh, I had my business for 12 years.
12 years.
Yep.
12 years.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
okay.
And worked it full time for about 10 and a half years full time.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, as I said, so that's kind of like, you have to be active. You have to get yourself out there, and you have to have people who are advocates for you. I have folks that are my mentors, that who are advocates for me. Like, if an opportunity comes up, they're like, Sonjie's going to do this. You know what I mean? I believe in her. I trust that this can be done.
we trapped in the studio, y'all.
I know. Hello. Did we lock him? Did I do that?
You might have.
I don't know. I'm in train. That's my dad. Lock the door. Yeah.
Right. All right. With that being said, Sonjie, she's locking folks out, but we'll be right back. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have something called Supporter Surprises for Sonjie. We'll be right back. Living a Rich Life talk show here on BeExposedRadio.com. We'll be right back. Oh, good.
First they love you, then desert you. Leave with a plate full with no spoon. Ain't no space, I can't escape negativity. I got used to the taste. I've been bad, burned, then fucked over. But remain strong through the Passover. Kicking haters out of the way like masked over. Roll up, sip something, let it pass over. Who would I be? It ain't the man to me that let the next man take advantage of me. When that storm come, don't pan I see. Get with it, not without it, then you'll see. I peep the haters, they know I'm greater. That's why they buzzing for the elevator. But I can't save you, we too loud on the pedal stool. Don't carry fakers, always got your hand out demanding favors. When I just looked out, now you need more paper. I can't breathe, give me 3 feet. I never let y'all be the death of me. When my patience run there, yeah, nigga OT. Cause they wanna see me down like I'm an NCT. 6 words, get the fuck away from me. Say I help you out if you can help yourself. I keep it G till I DIE. Now excuse me while I get back to PC. HOP ain't losing sleep while your third eye always on me.
I thought you was gonna have my money today.
Man, it is what it is.
Then last week you told me your wife was cooking.
Man, it is what it is.
Then again, I don't think I want your wife cooking because you don't like it.
Well, it is what it is.
This Fly T Miles, also known as Tyree Miles, and Mr. Miles the writer.
Hip Hop K. Check us out every Friday on Be Exposed Radio. It is what it is, 9/11.
Are they ready to? I know they're not ready to accept it, but yeah, exactly. That's my whole thing. Like, how many of them are really ready to think about it like that?
None.
You know, like
I think the problem is
like
I don't even know how we got here, but it's inbred. You're not born to hate people. You're not born to distinguish between black and white and Asian and Hispanic. That's something that you're taught. You're taught. Point blank, period. My daughter came home and told me that her white teacher was black. Maybe it's because it's how she treated her. She don't see any color. But when it comes to all her friends, all her friends are mixed. All of her friends have a white parent, black, African, Hispanic, other parent.
So
children don't see color. You breed your children. Not breed.
Right.
You raise your children to see that.
Yeah, most definitely.
They don't see racism.
Well, I guess
I met a little girl who had a black doll, and she said because the black dolls are prettier than the white dolls. But then I've taken a black doll and a white doll and put it in front of two kids, and it's a study that they've done before. You put it in front of two kids, and you put it in front of a kid.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back to Living a Rich Life talk show here on Be Exposed Radio. We are featuring the lovely Sonjie.
What? You got it right. Bing, bing, bing. I need a
There you go. So, as I mentioned, I generally like to, put a question out there to folks, right? And I will have to say I received the most questions.
What?
For my guest. And again, it's something I
so
just started.
Flattered.
Yes.
I'm very flattered.
So right here is the box of questions. And we're going to hit these questions.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let you, I have no idea what they say, by the way. So
gosh. Now it's scary.
Yeah,
First I'm flattered, now I'm like, what?
It's okay. We'll see.
Let's see. All
right.
right.
You want to read it?
I'll read it. Can I read it?
Absolutely. Go ahead and read it.
Really? This is the question I get?
I don't know. What does it say?
Are you dating anyone? Really? Not about my business. Am I dating anyone? Yes, I've been dating someone for the last year or so.
Okay, there you go. All right.
There we go. Bam.
Well, let's see what else we got. She said, really? I don't know what the question is.
I mean, that's the first one that I choose.
Hey,
okay.
Somebody wanted to know.
Have you ever dealt with a difficult client? In what ways were they difficult, and how did you handle the situation?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That is a very good question.
Yes.
So, when you have your own business, do not be scared to fire clients.
Okay.
Do not be afraid to fire. I know you're like, oh, you're looking at that money.
Right.
You're looking at, listen, if it causes you more stress,
enjoyment,
and a burden on what you enjoy doing,
right?
Cancel it. Because you have to set standards.
Okay.
If you don't set standards in your business, people will take advantage of that.
Okay.
And then your job becomes a chore.
Right. Versus something you enjoy loving doing.
So that's why I don't do weddings.
She put that in there.
I don't do weddings.
Not at all.
And you have to understand your own personality, right? I am not a hand holder.
Okay.
Right? I help my clients achieve what they need to achieve, and I walk them through the steps. However, and some clients are a little bit more needier than others. You need to meet more, you need to talk more, whatever it may be. But then the wedding is a different kind of animal because there's other emotions that go into it.
Right, yeah.
As well as your the family emotions.
Right.
So you're not dealing with just
one person.
You're dealing with a whole bunch of other stuff.
Okay. So at the end of the day, it's okay to fire your client.
Do not. I had a client for 10 years.
And
one of my very first clients. Change of leadership. I was like, this ain't gonna work for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I had such loyalty to the organization. However, the vision was not the same.
Okay.
And I had to say, this is what why is it so difficult to put on a good event? Well, it shouldn't be this difficult. You know what I mean?
All right. Good question. I don't know who that came from.
But that was really good.
I can always look back.
Okay.
I had a friend of mine. It's so funny. She has her own marketing company. And she had a client that she had to let go because it was really stressful.
Yeah, stressful.
It was really stressful. So shout out to Christina Voister.
Seriously, I had another client who took up 8 hours of my time.
Yeah.
A day.
Oh wow.
For meetings that I'm like, what? I have other
right. Okay.
Clients and businesses that 8 hours. No.
That's a long time.
That's a long time.
All right, go ahead, grab another one. Let's see what your supporters want to know. Supporter surprises for Sonjie.
Are there any type of events you find particularly interesting or exciting to plan? So, I'm an experiential I love doing experiential stuff, right? So experiential planning, and you have to understand there's different types of planning, and that's what people, when you go into event planning industry, you have to figure out what's your niche, right?
Okay.
People enjoy weddings, right? People love weddings. They're wedding planners. You know, they make shows about it, right? They love that whole thing, helping the bride. I mean, they love the dream. You know, making that dream a reality for folks. There are folks who do trade shows, right?
Okay.
Those big trade shows that come and, you know, exhibits and working with the general contractor. Those are a different type of an event planner. You know, and I said, when I got into this business, you had to kind of understand what your niche was, right?
Okay.
So I love, like, I used to do a lot of, I was just talking to one of my, well, she works for the company. They used to be a client of mine, but they just restructured their stuff. But I used to do like all of their, like the Maryland launches. Like they would do like any liquor launches, brand launches that would come. So we did some really cool things, like when Ciroc Pineapple came, you know, we did like a whole, the Tiki Barge. I don't know if you're familiar with Tiki Barge in Baltimore.
Yes.
You know, we had Hawaiian dancers and the pineapples and then the gobo in the pool. I mean, it was in the middle of a storm that almost happened, but it was so much fun, and it was such different, you know, so you're able to be a little bit more creative when you do kind of experiential events where you're like able to take a brand and then like build out an experience for the folks that attend.
Okay,
so.
all right. I'm being told we got to take another break in a minute. Quick question though, how do you measure your success? How do you measure the results of an event? You know, you like to have that extraordinary experience. So how do you actually measure that? You take a survey?
Well, I mean, you know, you could tell when the demand is there for another one, and then if your client is like, "Oh my God, that was amazing!"
Oh my God,
like, oh, you know, everyone's talking afterwards, like, "Oh, this was beautiful. That was great. This was great." I mean, you just know, like.
Okay.
You know,
so it's pretty much, hey, you know, you can just look around, you can see folks having a good time.
Yeah, but then you know, you also have to have that, you know, that post, right? That SWOT analysis afterwards with your clients to kind of go over like, hey, this is what we did, this was great, this is what we could do better, you know?
Gotcha. For next. Okay, all right. So with that being said, we're going to come back because I'm sure we only got to 3, but I'm sure there's a whole bunch. Let me see if we can sneak one. I'm going to sneak one in here before the break. Let's see here. Oh, what was your most successful event planning experience?
Most success. That's a hard one. Can we take that? Can we answer that after the break?
Yeah, we're going to answer this one. We're going to come back and we're going to let Sonjie. We're going to have her answer this when we come back. More Living a Rich Life talk show here on BeExposedRadio.com. You know I ain't going to let you forget this. We'll be right back.
Take a minute and listen to this flashback of the Black by Demand radio show.
Control. They said she wouldn't, so they didn't know if she had a weapon. So it's just a mess. So yeah, you do have to have these discussions with your children.
You do. And you have to make them aware of that there is an enemy out there. Every time the police pull you over, or every time you have an interaction with the police as a black person, you are at risk of being in front of your enemy. Hopefully, it's not a police officer that wants to demonstrate that he's your enemy, but we all see it's a high probability of that being the case. So if we're not talking to our children do not have the coping mechanisms to deal with these type of intense situations. What they're going to do is what most of us do as black people, me and anyone else, which is become emotional. And that is the trigger point for the police. They know that black people are emotional people. So when they arrive on the scene, they are purposely trying to say and do things to you to get your emotions up, right? And then once they get your emotions up, then it's like, oh, that's what we needed. Now we're going to kick your ass. You know what I'm saying? Gotcha. You know, so I'm saying we need to have these discussions with our children, you know, and make them understand in this day and age, and it's every day and age really, but we'll just say this day and age for the sake of it being so prevalent on social media, like you have to understand what you're getting yourself into. And I think a lot of us as black people are just scared to still tell our children that there are a group of people out here that are your enemies.
Join us every Monday at 12 noon for Black by Demand radio show, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back to Living a Rich Life talk show featuring the one and only Sonjie.
You keep saying son.
Sonjie. Lord have mercy. I tell you, boy.
It's like Jason backwards, like Jason.
Jason,
you know
like
what I mean? Jason, like
Son.
Yeah, Son. Yeah.
She gonna probably chop me up later.
No.
God damn it.
Yes.
So, question was, what was your most successful event planning experience?
So.
And we'll say favorite.
Yeah, I'll say favorite because.
Okay.
I've had a lot of successful events that I was like, that was. We pulled that off, because that's the thing about events, like so many things happen, right? And then that's what people's personalities, is a little bit different, right?
Right.
It's like when you have, anything can happen with an event, right? And some people aren't good with that unknown factor that may happen. Like, oh, look, so for example, so the National Urban League was coming here, one of my favorite clients, their national conference was coming to Baltimore about a few years ago. And, they had been with me and they said, hey, we're going to, you do the opening ceremony along with several other different events.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, cool. They're like, we want to give, the purpose of this event is that all these people are coming into the city and we want to make sure that they have a feel and a taste of Baltimore.
Ah,
right.
Okay.
So we got some of the best caterers, of course, Jimmy Britton, Class Act, JD, we also had my folks over there at the forum. So we had all of them in different areas. I themed them. I had just came back from Brazil. So I use travel as a way to feed my creative juices, right? So, when I went to Carnival in Brazil that year, they kind of build out these different experiences for the groups in different, sections of the building or the venue that they're using. And so people could go different places and experience something completely different. And I wanted to make sure that, we were representing different historical things of Baltimore, but then also some of the new things, right? Some of the new talent and so forth. So, upstairs we had with the forum with a jazz, because, Baltimore has a huge jazz history. Very historic jazz history, Billie Holiday. And then you got Gizzy left.
See, I'm not the only one that's
I'm stuttering. So, there's such a huge history here. So we created kind of a Pennsylvania Avenue, old school Pennsylvania Avenue look on one floor, and we used the Frederick Douglass Myers Museum. And then outside we had a tent. We had the seafood, of course, with Jimmy's crab cakes. We created Druid Hill Park, where we had some food trucks and brought in that aspect of it and how they used to skate back in the days of Druid Hill Park.
You know how to skate?
I used to. I can get on some skates. Do I? I know how to skate. Do I know how to do it well is another question. But I used to skate when I was younger. And then we had Druid Hill perform.
Okay.
And they had at that time. This is about 4 years ago. They hadn't done much in the city and long time. So and especially for out of towners, that was just because that's what one of the major artists that they knew for Baltimore. Right? Dizzy Gillespie. How could I just forget? I had to bring that back. Sorry for the jazz. I was like,
it's okay.
Yeah. So anyhow, so we had that surprise performance, and people walked out of there and was just like, oh my God. Right. Out of the 20 years that we've had the national convention in every city, this was the best one yet.
Nice.
So when you hear that makes you feel because probably an hour before we were supposed to open the doors, we were setting up and this lady runs out you don't have a permit for this? And I'm like, what? You have to shut this down? You don't have a permit?
Right.
We don't da-da-da. And it was all this drama because I had asked one of the partners to make sure that we could utilize that space in front of the building because all that property doesn't belong to Douglas Myers. And he said, oh yeah, they said it was okay.
Oh yeah, right? That's my cousin's basement.
Yeah. They said it was all right. We checked it before, and then here we are setting up, and they were just no.
But it worked out.
It ended up working out. We had to call. The people had to come down from the city agency office and give us a permit on site. It was crazy.
Well, you got it done, and that's
you got it done. But that was like, when you look back on it, it made it all worth it, because everyone who left there having
probably
an
had
time.
a different light on Baltimore.
Oh yeah.
After that experience.
Oh yeah, they were just like, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Like they were like, that was so much fun.
Okay. So right now we're gonna have what I call a rich life moment in time.
Okay.
And I mentioned that, right? So what I like to do when I do that, you just sit there. So I kind of developed. Well, my folks that do some marketing for me said it'd be a good idea. I have the Living a Rich Life poster, and all my guests have signed.
Sure.
So if you would do me the honors,
yes,
of signing your Jane Hancock,
Jane Hancock,
anywhere on the board, and you'll probably see some names that look familiar to you. Folks that have supported me in one way or another by being on the show, of course, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate you being on the show. It took a long time coming. Yeah, because you are a traveler. You've been here, you've been there. Now, where'd you just come back from? You just came back from somewhere, right? Well,
I came back from my country. I came back from Guyana.
Okay.
And I've only been back twice since I left when I was 4 years old, and my grandfather turned 90.
Ah, okay.
So that was like, it was good, because you don't realize when you're moving so quickly. The things that I do, it takes it takes a moment for you to kind of just like sit down and appreciate like your family and your grandfather who's turning 90 years old, and looking like, how much more time do I have with him? Like, those are important questions and important family, because as you get older, this is all great, but you're going to be old too. You know what I mean?
Please don't remind me. That's one thing I struggle.
So you gotta live your life. You gotta live your best life, right?
Oh, we're gonna talk about that too.
Yeah. So
living
it's just
a rich life.
You're living a rich life.
Exactly.
So it's like, you gotta make sure that whatever you're doing, you gotta look around and appreciate the people that have been supportive of you, and then also who are part of your legacy. Right?
Yeah.
They're the ones who kind of like paved the way for you. Who was able to. My mom provided the opportunity for my mom and my grandfather. And education, and he used to take me to school when I was 2 years old. So all these things that you got to kind of like.
Strong relationships, element number 2.
Yes, definitely.
Right? Element number 2. So why you do that? So do you remember when we first met?
No, I have the worst memory with that, and it's always embarrassing to me, because I'm like, I'm the worst.
so it was at a major. It was at a gala.
Okay.
Or gala, whichever one you wanna call it. So that still doesn't ring a bell?
No.
Associate Black Charities.
Okay. Which one? Which?
I think it was the very first one I went to, so it was a long time
Where
ago.
was it?
It was at, I want to say Martin's West.
Okay.
What year was that? You remember?
No, that was probably a few years ago.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, because they've been doing it there for a while, but then before that they did it at the airport.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so probably when they first did it.
Okay, so don't get creeped out or anything. I just have a good memory.
Yes.
See, so I
please, good.
You had on a purple dress.
Purple dress.
Okay. And it was not fully zipped in the back.
Oh, you zipped it for me. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yes.
You know what's so funny about that day? So
yes,
I remember that dress. So Mayo, do you remember that story with Mayo Schwartz? Not Mayo Schwartz. Mayo, who anyway, the guy who used to run Constellation Energy.
Okay.
I remember his wife.
Yes.
The whole scenario that happened, that she was allegedly sleeping with a 16-year-old. So there's a picture of her and I.
Oh. Surfing somewhere around?
Yes, where I'm wearing that dress. And I'm taking a picture with her like, hi! And I'm like, oh my, because when the story broke, like I have to dig back into the pictures, and I'm like, oh my God, there she goes. I'm like, I remember that. That was a long time ago. That was a long time ago.
Yeah. I was like.
I remember you did zip my, yes, I remember now.
I said, excuse me. you know, I got to take care of something for you. That's like, I'm that guy. If you got a tag hanging out, I tell you, you know, if something's in your teeth while I'm talking to you.
Yeah, you tell. That's great.
Some folks will just let you. But I said, Dad, go in there. And then I don't even know how. I would just see you around town and, hey, you know, we don't talk every day, but I like to think we're pretty cordial with each other. I support, and you've been pretty supportive of thus far. So it's always good. So yeah, that's that rich life moment in time. See,
that is.
That was a long time ago. Purple dress. I got some folks from high school that I remember some things, and they be like, God damn it.
No, seriously, like I'm like, so people, people probably like, that's DeCaires. Who the hell is that? Bam.
Yes.
Bam, bam.
So one of the things that we didn't do.
Yeah.
Tell folks how they could stay in contact with you.
So stay in contact with me. Follow me on IG. You know, I have 2 pages. I have my personal page at SONJIELUVS, and then I also have my.
Yes, I like that.
I also have my business page, SONJE Productions, SONJE Productions.
Okay.
So if you want to know what's, you know, events that are coming up or things that I'm doing, you could always keep up with that, you know.
Yeah, they can, your company page.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I've been there.
Yeah, and I have a couple things coming up. I have.
So let's talk about that.
Let's talk about some of the things I have on my plate this year.
Yes.
All right, so,
we want all of y'all to follow and get tickets, come out, support.
Yeah,
it's going to be an extraordinary experience.
Yeah.
I'm going to be there too.
Yeah, up in the building. So, couple things. So, you know, this is my year to give back. You know, this is all for the glory of God that, you know, I'm here, standing here and doing something that I love doing, you know, that I'm passionate about and I have the freedom to do. So, you know, I always take this year, something I started about, 2 things I started about over 10 years ago. Well, one I started probably 8 years ago, another one over 10 years ago. One is called the Big Give Back. Big Give Back, I started it with a gentleman named John Lee. I don't know if you're familiar with John Lee. Zenith Hospitality. He came and said, Sonjie, you know, we need to do something around Christmas time. And I was like, yeah, you know, we should, you know, do something around Christmas time. I'm down, you know, let's do it. So he's like, you know, let's work with Big Gaddy. Let's do, give 10 families like a Christmas, you know, get some families. First it was 5 families. So I was like, all right, cool, let's do that. I'll pull my strings and let's make it happen. And so we, you know, I got Walmart to sponsor. To give us the toys. I got, you know, I think he pulled in Sullivan's or I pulled in Sullivan's, and, you know, we would get these families out to a restaurant and then have them open up toys, you know, and have them give them this experience that, you know, they've been struggling all year. Their families can't provide the things that they need, and we step in to make that happen, and nice. You know, have them have it like a really great restaurant, you know what I mean, for them to enjoy and so forth. So anyway, so
so you have that. Tell us how does that
so the Big Give Back. So we do a toy drive as well. So I said, now we fast forward. I've brought in BTST Services. I don't know if you're familiar with Chris Simon. We got to get him on the show. He has an amazing story as an entrepreneur. Yep. And anyhow, so you know, we brought in BTST Services. They've been a really great help because, you know, they deal with a lot. They're a mental health facility. They deal with a lot of families that, you know, go through different depressions and so forth during the holiday season. So we've brought them in to bring in additional 5 families. This year, I just sitting here, we got approval. Thank you, Mignana Farmer from Horseshoe Casino, that they're going to sponsor the dinner this year. So, but we also have a happy hour, which is always amazing at Mount Washington Tavern. Have you been there? So you're supportive. That's right. And we're having on December 16th. We encourage people to drop off toys, drop off gift cards.
I always come with more than one.
You do, really? Yeah, I remember you came with like a whole bag. Last time.
That I did.
So
that was a good year.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's always a good happy hour. I mean, really, really fun. Mount Washington Tavern is so beautiful.
Yes.
And then I said we have a little private dinner with the families probably like a week later. We're looking for volunteers too. If you want to wrap toys, help us wrap toys for the kids. You want to do something. If you can't afford to give a toy this year, just your service will be helpful.
And when is that? I guess.
I'll give you more information on how to. I'll be dropping a flyer on the volunteer information next week on my page.
Okay.
So if we could get that going, that would be fantastic. We really appreciate any help that you could get. And then we also have another event that we've done for the last 8 years with a friend of mine, Zach McDaniels, Philanthropic, who is the CEO of Philanthropic. We started an event where, when I first came here and we did a broadcast at the Ronald McDonald House in 92Q, and it was Mark Clark, Troy Johnson, and I, and that's like probably one of the first years we were here, and we did a live broadcast at the Ronald McDonald House, and that's how I was able to kind of learn about exactly what the Ronald McDonald House does, which is absolutely amazing. Helping those families who are dealing with sick children, really sick children. And, just imagine your child being sick and then not having the means or the finances to give them what they need.
Right.
And Ronald McDonald House gives us this amazing support system. And I was like, when he said, let's come up with an event, and I came up with the event, and I was like, he said, who should be the benefactor? I'm like, Ronald McDonald House. I was like, they're amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, they're an amazing group, and all these toys, whatever we collect, should go to those folks. And we have made such an impact with the Ronald McDonald House, is that they have like named it the Philanthropic Shopping Mart. So it's like it's amazing.
Yep. So we're gonna take a quick break.
Yes.
I'm sure there's more things. Again, this holiday time.
Yeah.
So we'll be right back. Living a Rich Life talk show here, BeExposedRadio.com. We'll be right back. We always take.
Now listen to BeExposedRadio.com. Check out this fire flashback.
We need to relearn what it is to be these bosses and how we conduct ourselves as business-minded individuals and just people in general. I let my gut, and if I call it gut or God or whatever, I'm led by that energy. I know where it comes from. I know where it's, taking me, and you have to figure out what is important to you, and don't play this game. It's a game that we've learned to play, this chess game, and life is not a chess game. Life is real, bones, flesh, blood, decisions.
Make sure you check out the Artist Exchange Show every Monday and Friday at 2 p.m. only on BeExposedRadio.com.
White keys only have this bitch jumping.
Okay. If I sit around, hold up. Look. If I sit around, hold up. Yeah. Rebel. Let's do it.
If I sit around, I'ma smoke some more. Wasn't even thinking about smoke before, but I'm in my head and I'm in the bed. Don't know who I am, like I'm wearing a mask. Work a mode, tell them where the cash. If you wear the cash, tell them where the cash. If you playing for you, gon' run it back. Don't make promises, but I promise that. Don't promise me, cause I ain't into that. Fell in love with that and got hurt from that. Now it's all over and the curtains back. Can't see you not noticing that. I'm letting it go, it ain't holding me back. Yeah, I'm on dice, but ain't come for the crack. Drinking with uncle, we only do jack. I'm alive, I thank God.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back to Living a Rich Life talk show featuring Sonjie.
You keep saying son.
Sonjie.
When's he gonna get it right, guys?
Oh, damn.
When's he gonna get it right?
Okay, all right.
Okay.
So let's keep it going. Let's keep this conversation going. We were talking about before the break some of the things that you have going on. So you mentioned the big
Give back. Yep, and then we have the philanthropic toy drive that benefits the Ronald McDonald House.
McDonald House, and that has definitely evolved.
Oh yeah, we started Mirage nightclub. If you guys are familiar with Mirage, that's where we started about 8 years ago, I believe it was, and then it just has grown ridiculously. So now we had to, but then we downsized it this year. It had gotten to like 600 people, 500, 600 people in attendance, and now we've downsized it to 300 people, just because we wanted to. It was just getting we wanted to be a little bit more manageable for us. You know what I mean? And we just felt like we wanted to increase the quality of toys and the experience for folks.
Yeah, because I keep it 100. Since you've known me.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect, but I'm coming. I remember taking pictures with the Ronald McDonald ladies. I think I still got that picture.
Yeah.
I try to dig that stuff out. And I was just looking to get the toy as a toy, but again, you want to make sure that the kids have
great quality toys. Because people were just coming in like picking up whatever just to get. Because that's how you got into the event. There was no charge to it. It was just like you just buy a toy, and people were just running to whatever dollar store and picking up a toy just to get in, to be a social event. So a lot of people were a little upset the fact that we put a price tag this year on it because because we were just like the whole purpose is to. A lot of these things have an expense to it. You are going to be at the Four Seasons or wherever else. Who pays for how does that happen? Like that doesn't magically
delicious
just pay for itself. You know,
I was going to ask you that off the air. Because that is one of the things that changed, right? Over the last couple of years, you bring a toy. And like I said, I've always, me, myself, yes, I'm patting myself on the back. I would come with more than one toy. And how did people feel in terms of you adding a value?
Some people were upset, but as you can see, we sold out. So, you know what I mean? And then in fact, it'll be all right. It would be okay. Some people were like, I'm not, okay, we'll see you next, see us next year, because we gave ample amount of time for folks to purchase a ticket, and then I said we wanted to improve the quality of experience for our guests,
and that makes sense. I'll be there. I'll be there. All right, so I want to hit a few more of these supporters questions.
All right, let's see.
Go ahead in there. But one of the things I also want to talk about is how-tos of productions and promotions.
Okay.
So So you looking.
What steps do you take to handle last-minute or unexpected setbacks before and during an event? So, event 101.
Sound like you experienced that.
Everything is going to be all right. Because most people, when they see me the day of the event, they're like, oh my God, you're so calm.
Okay.
You're so serious, you're so calm. And I'm like, because at this point in time, it's going to be what's going to be. Right?
Makes sense.
And majority of the mistakes that happen, you're the only one that kind of knows.
Okay.
Right? If you're a good event planner. You're the only one that knows. Like, I remember, Eddie Levert, we were having him and his bus broke down to get him to the event.
Oh, my goodness.
So there was a little slight delay in getting him. Then when he came to the event,
did he catch a lift? No.
They were able to but when he came to the event, then he wanted to be in his lounge for a minute, give himself a moment to kind of gather himself to perform. And I'm looking at him like, you're late because the bus broke down. And then on top, we got to get you on stage, So there was a little lag time, but when he got on stage, everybody kind of forgot all of that, And those are things that are going to happen. You can't control that, but you have to keep a calm head about it, and then make sure that you always are thinking 10 steps ahead, and you can't be frazzled because your client can't see you frazzled because they're crazy. You can't be
crazy as well. Okay, alrighty.
And it's all gonna be okay.
See, I got to tell you, I understand that, right? And I've dealt with individuals. So, in corporate America, when I was strictly corporate America, folks would get razzled, and I'm like, it's gonna be okay.
It's gonna be
but they would feel that since I'm not all frustrated, that I don't care.
You care, yes.
I never understood that. Well, I'm sorry. Let's keep it going. Let's see what else they want to know. See what else they want to know.
How do you manage event promotion, including social media outreach and email campaigns? So funny, right? So, when I first started off, I started building my business and getting my name out there, right? I said, you know what I'm going to do is I signed up for Constant Contact, right? Okay. And all the contacts and the relationships that I had, I just dumped into this Constant Contact, right?
Okay.
And every time I had an event, because you have to be strategic, marketing is about not perception, people, what you have to create people's perception.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
So, I made sure that my photographer, I would point out what type of pictures that he would take.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And if Sip knows, that's one of my main photographers, I would say, take a picture of her, do this, get that, and I would strategically walk around with him to capture certain shots, because I knew that I was going to use those shots at the end to do a recap and send out and blast out to so these are people who lived in New York, LA, Baltimore, Philly, everywhere that I lived, Virginia, everywhere.
Right.
My college, Hampton, everywhere that any network that I was part of.
Okay.
I blasted it out. So people would hit me from all over the country, would be like, oh my God, Sonjie, that event looks amazing.
Right.
I want to come to one of your events. Yes. I want to experience one of you. I want to, right. And that's how my name started to grow and build, even outside of Baltimore, because I was making sure the eyes were not just in Baltimore. They were outside of Baltimore. So people were, inclined, and then they would send in. So if they had if any opportunity came across their table, they were just like, I know somebody who could do it. This girl named Sonjie. I know Sonjie Productions. She can do it. I went to her event, or I saw this, that, the other. It looked amazing. And so now things have kind of changed with direct mail. I was part of a Goldman Sachs cohort this last year. And one of the instructors who came in, she was saying that direct marketing, she uses a lot of LinkedIn. And things have changed, because you got to decide on who you're trying to reach.
Right.
Right? And you have to be strategic about who you're trying to reach.
Okay.
And there's so many different facets with Facebook, with social media, the hashtags, making sure you're part of certain groups.
Right.
Making sure, you have to actively be part of different meetups. So Facebook groups.
Right.
Follow.
I'm learning. I'm listening.
No, seriously.
Yeah. Okay.
These are all things that you kind of you have to that's how you grow your network. You know what I mean? You have to put yourself in places that you won't necessarily go and be part of, right? So that's how you kind of there's a whole meetup community. Gotcha. You go there and you talk about your whatever you got going on, then people will listen. You go to all the Facebook stuff, there's groups for all the things that you may be interested in. Someone has created a group, or you create the group. You know what I mean?
I like that. We're learning there. You're going to learn today.
Yeah, and even on social media, with Instagram, there's things that you can do, hashtags, that's why people are creating hashtags for those groups, and then follow folks, and they'll follow you. Like when you start liking folks or engaging with people that you really on Instagram, they'll start following you.
Some will, some won't.
Yeah.
But we're going to take a quick break. We got to take another break.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully y'all had your pens and your paper out, because there's some good information.
It's some good questions. Right? Are you sure you didn't write these?
No, I'm sure I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
You promise you need a Bible? We need to swear on this, because these are really good.
Yeah, well, I like to think I'm a pretty smart guy.
Yeah.
I picked some right ones. I said, hey, I told him, there's a couple, I did read some of them.
Okay.
But ultimately, I was like, hey, just put them together.
Okay.
So we're going to take a break.
Okay.
We're going to come back. We're going to keep it going. Next segment, we're going to talk about the how-tos of production and promotion.
Yes.
We'll be right back. Living a Rich Life Talk Show, BeExposedRadio.com. We'll be right back. Yeah.
And we're we're back with more Cheryl Underwood Radio.
Thank you, super producer. Hey, we're in our entertainment breaks, and as I promised that I was going to make an announcement about Courtney's segment.
Long live Pop. Y'all can go ahead and cry now. I'm gonna show these niggas what to do with one of your beats, man. I am Gas, by the way. Strong woman story should have been on CNN. Nobody knows what it's like being Gwen. Windows closed in the house, it ain't no CNN. Can't gain weight for years, she been being thin. Single mother, no help from the system. When they was giving out food stamps, she missed them. Birth certificate, baby daddy, she couldn't list them. But her son was so beautiful when she kissed him. Blame it on love, but nigga she could've died with. Destroyed the whole world, I found out she was a side chick. The nigga loved his wife, and it got hard to hide it. So when Gwen confronted him, he ain't even denied it. Her fault, depends on who you asking. She tried to be a stripper, but the tip out was taxing. Buying all the purses, trying to keep up with the fashion. And her mama hated babysitting with a passion. She deserved better circumstances. A black queen, she should have been blessed with certain chances.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
I know.
Welcome back to Living a Rich Life Talk Show here on Be Exposed Radio, featuring
Sonjie. DeCaires. Yes.
DeCaires. I'm gonna tell you, I watched on because I was trying to practice your name. I ain't gonna
Okay. All right.
And I was watching some of your stuff on that appears like you've been on midday in the morning, and I was like, okay, I got it, but I don't know, maybe I'm just nervous being around you. Oh goodness. But anyway, so let's talk about, during this segment, I want to talk about the how-tos of production and promotions, right? So what that kind of, what works for you, and what are some characteristics of a successful event producer / planner, putting things together. What are some characteristics you think that's important?
You have to be able to adapt to change.
Okay.
Because I said, things happen all the time, and you have to be able to adapt. If you're not a person if you're a person who's rigid, who's like, if you go into a situation, it's like, this was going to be, and that's what's going to. Some people are like, this is it, and they can't see the gray. Okay. They all see black and white. You have to be able to see the gray. You have to be able to see, like, this showed up. I had an event where a fire happened.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay. My caterer at the time got excited to see left something, and a fire happened. And the sterno caught on something that was flammable, and the whole thing. That was like one of my worst events ever. Like, I cried for like 2 days straight.
That was a question.
2 days straight.
Yeah?
2 days straight I cried. I was like traumatized.
Oh, yeah.
Traumatized by it because luckily, thank God,
you didn't burn the place down.
I didn't burn the place down. It happened to be, the food was held in a place that had those cinder blocks.
Yes, okay.
So you can't burn concrete,
Right.
Like,
pretty strong.
Pretty strong. So it just kind of created the sud. But like, and then, it's so funny because we were kind of so tight with the budget, and I was just like, damn, should we buy this insurance? And that's the thing. You can't. Don't cut cut corners, because you never know what may happen. And that taught me such a valuable lesson about like cutting corners. Right. I was gonna cut corners because I'm like, I could save this $3,000 and put it in it. And I was like, you know what? You never know. Let me just get it.
Right.
And I did it, for that 1 day insurance, because it's really high when you do 1 day insurance.
Right.
Now I have like full on insurance for my company, but it was really it saved everything, because we would have had to pay so much money. Than the deductible.
That's what they say. Insurance is just in case happens.
Something happens. Yeah. So you have to be able, as I said, to see the gray in any black and white situation. You also have to be detail oriented.
Okay.
You have to be reliable. You know what I mean? Like you got to make sure like what you don't overpromise and underdeliver. Like that's one of my pet peeves.
Okay.
Like, and sometimes I tend to be a little bit too realistic because some people come to you, you know, with all of these pipe dreams, and you know what I mean. And I'm like, you have a shoestring budget,
right?
Like that's not going to work.
From a chandelier.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's going to cost.
Right,
you know,
right,
that's
right,
going to
right.
cost this. That's going to cost that. So I try to be really realistic with my clients, and you know, and I said, like, I think, you know, you just have to be trustworthy.
Yeah.
You know, people have to. They are entrusting their brand, they have some emotional tie to this, their vision,
Generally,
whatever it is,
yeah.
and you have to be able to execute. You know what I mean? So I just was like trying to help. Went into this restaurant, and this happened to be a Guyanese guy who owns a restaurant, it's Hibiscus restaurant. They just opened up on 25th Street. Really good food, and you know, they've been burnt so much by people that I don't even want any money for. I just want to help them because they're fellow, you know, West Indians,
right.
and I want to see them, you know, help. But it's like so many people have done shifty things,
Gotcha.
you know, and have
right.
created like false, you know, persona, and then they end up stealing money, or you know, say, oh yeah, we're going to do this, and you know, and not doing it for folks,
right?
And it just becomes, you know, it's hard. It's harder for folks when you just walk in and say, hey, you know, I just help you know. Just you know, come to my. I told them, come to my events, meet people.
Yeah, that's a good way. Yeah,
I was like, that's it. Yeah, just come to my events and meet people. I was like, I'm not asking for anything, but just come to my events and meet folks, and you know, you'll spread the word of mouth.
Yeah. That's usually a good thing. Spreading the word of mouth. You have good events. You surround yourself by good people. Again, I think for me, when I think about changing in my life, I've been through some things, you know, but sometimes you got to go through some things to get to a better place.
And you got to be appreciative. I think people, I'm sitting there thinking in my list, like, damn, because I've increased my client, some really new clients this last year or so. I'm like, wow, my Christmas list has gotten better. Like, I send all of my clients a Christmas gift, thanking them for their business for the year.
Okay.
And folks don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, I have some vendors that I use all the time, and they sent me a Christmas card, like, thank you, you know, for using us. That is what you want to hear. Some people just feel like you're entitled to use them. I'm not entitled to use you.
Yeah. I gotta see. So, you know, one of the things that, I already said to my mind, now you ain't gonna get no gift, but you gonna get a card or something saying thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, people remember that.
They do. I mean, I
appreciate that.
And just the fact that, again, because you know, people's schedule, people's time is valuable. Well, I think $1 is more valuable, but it all equates, right? So, and I think just being able to have folks come on, tell their story, share their story. I ain't gonna lie, this has
you were raised right. I can tell my mama raised you right, because I said some folks feel that you either owe them or that you're supposed to use them. Like, so I'm making you thousands of dollars every year, and you can't even write a thank you card,
right,
or do something pro bono because I don't have to spend this business with you. I could direct my clients to somewhere else. You know?
Yeah, true indeed. So I appreciate that. You already know. As long as I get my picture every year, every event. That's what we do, y'all.
Yeah, we do take a picture every. I look crazy today, but you'll see the next time.
Well, you're gonna take a picture.
I know. I'm like, there's gonna be a couple takes on that.
Oh my goodness! Yes. So, because I do look forward to that. You know, certain events you look forward to seeing certain people. I got to say that you're one of my people I look forward to seeing.
Thank you.
Yes. All right. So we said flexible, organized, detailed, easy to get along with, and then again, just great with time. Money and again, I guess people management skills, right? Okay. Well, that's good to know. That's good to know. So, what does the future look like for Miss Sonjie?
Oh gosh, what is going on?
I don't know why I can't. Sonjie. I'm gonna come up with a nickname for you. What's the future look like? What you got going on? We know a couple of things happen, but what do you envision happening the next level? Because again, I've known you for a couple of years now.
The next level. Well, I want to open up another business. I think that's kind of where I'm at. Either expand upon this one or take my stab at it, being kind of like a serial entrepreneur. Okay. So that's kind of like where I'm at in the next, to be a millionaire, you have to have about 6 or 7 streams of income. You know that, right?
Yeah, sure.
It's good to, as I've learned, things that I wish I had, so many things I wish I had learned probably about 5 years ago. I just didn't, and you got to surround yourself by the right people too. That's also important because, a lot of my friends were great people. They were lawyers and accountants and, making 6 figures, living great lives, but they weren't entrepreneurs.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They knew how to build their careers within that, but they knew nothing about building a business. So I had to kind of like create a different group of folks around me.
Right.
Because I needed folks that will teach me how to grow a business.
Right.
Right? Yeah. So it's a little bit different because they're not thinking the same. They live in their the 15th and the 30th checks. You know what I mean? They're not thinking about they're not necessarily thinking about being a millionaire.
Right.
They're just thinking about their 6-figure family. They're going to retire with this, and that's what they're going to do. Where I'm just like, oh no, this sky's the limit when you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Well, how can I just keep on?
Yeah.
Keep on keeping on.
Yeah, because you have to have an exit strategy after a certain time period. What's your succession plan? Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. All right. Well, that's good. Here comes some more of my questions. Yeah. So you already said your worst because that was one of my questions. So you're always pretty fashionable when I see you.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, and again, that's because your events, the type of it brings. So what was your worst fashion disaster other than
fashion disaster?
And I thought about that because I had to zip your purple dress up.
I know. My worst fashion disaster was something that happened. I think it was something that happened when I was younger, but one time it was at Shade.
Shade.
So women have these when we have certain dresses or something like that. There's these cups.
Okay. I know.
Right.
Okay.
That they're sticky and they just stick on to your breasts. Right.
Your breasts. Right. Okay.
But you can't sweat. If you sweat.
Oh, that's not good. They slide.
They slide off. So I was like in the middle of Shade.
Oh, goodness. That's
and I had this beautiful, I love this little jumpsuit, but it was kind of sheer in the front. I wanted to just make sure that, it was a little bit more corporate. As I get older, when I was younger, it would just be, I would be like on my Naomi Campbell. You know what I mean? Okay. Like, it's whatever. But, as you get older, you're like, let me, cover up a little bit.
Right.
And it started sliding off. And I had to, go into the bathroom and just throw them away. And because it became dark and, at night, people weren't, as much if it was daytime or whatever. So yeah, that was because first we tried to tape it. It was crazy. We asked Little Mike for some tape or whatever, and we tried to do a double tape kind of situation. Try to tape it up. It was falling. It was down.
Wasn't happening.
It looked like I had old lady breast titties because it was down. It was bad to the waist. It was terrible.
Oh goodness!
I hate those things, but then you need them.
Oh man, that is funny. Oh, that's too funny. That is too funny. Oh, child. Okay. Question: if you had a reality TV show about your life, what would your theme song be? I think I was just getting fun on that one.
I know. I'm like, what would my theme song be?
Yeah.
What's the Cardi B song?
Money.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it would be.
Now, someone has a birthday coming up.
I do.
Yeah.
Next week.
Yes. Cause
you did your research there.
A little bit.
A little
something. As a friend of mine, she watches the show, and I think I say it a couple. I'm like, I do my research.
You do?
Because I do.
Can I tell you I'm impressed?
Oh, sure. You can.
No. I am impressed because I've been on certain podcasts before, and I've hosted my own podcast. But your show is really thought out.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I mean, like, seriously, I was just like, okay.
Yeah,
all right, like, Rich not playing around. He has a segment and thought out and, insightful questions. I'm like,
got to get folks engaged.
No, it's pretty good.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I said I've been in radio for years, so,
And that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. I said,
came with your A game.
I got to come correct.
You did.
I was like, she's in the radio and all this good stuff. Got to come correct.
Yeah.
So your birthday's coming up.
Yes.
What do you have planned? Anything? It's around Thanksgiving.
So I'm gonna spend time with my niece.
Okay.
And then, so it's interesting. As I said, I was part of Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, on my birthday is our graduation. So they graduated a couple of our cohorts. So that's actually what I'm doing on that day.
Okay.
And then my boyfriend's taking me to Rome on that Friday.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Very
so
nice.
Excited about that.
Very nice. And then Thanksgiving. So you cook? You cooking? I mean, Thanksgiving is.
I help with some dishes.
That's.
But I do cook. I cook. I cook.
I'm about to say.
That's what I said. I'm about to go home after this. I have to go home and cook.
Okay.
So after my long day of work, I gotta go home and cook.
Okay. Well, I appreciate.
See, I got some mouths that
you gotta feed.
the house that I gotta feed.
I know that's right.
My boyfriend's son was like, "What time are you getting home?" Like, that's my little man. He's like, "What time are you getting home?"
Lord, okay. Did you ever think that as a kid that you would be doing what you're doing now? I mean, yes, you thought you was gonna be a lawyer, but as a kid, sometimes I see you as someone that is focused. Hey, at the age of 5, I'm gonna be an actress or whatever.
I said I was gonna be a lawyer.
So you had that set long time
That was
ago.
it. I was gonna be a lawyer.
Okay, all right. My guy came in. We got to take another break. I can talk a dog off a meat wagon.
All right. No, you're doing great. I told you, you're doing great.
Right, so we'll be right back. More Living a Rich Life talk show here on BeExposedRadio.com. We'll be right back. I asked that question. What makes an event successful and how do you measure that success?
I be up in the way. 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 Running on my face. Gucci guilty on my face. I be up in the way. 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 Bedroom phone ring, girl in t-shirt answers me. I get off on the way that she answers me. First time saw her, I knew she was the one for me. Ever since then, we've been vibing on some chemistry. It's just a matter of time. I know she feeling my vibe. I got the keys to the ride. She put her hands on my thigh. She got that look in her eye. SL what I'm riding. Royalty, call me highness. All day and overnighted. Cause it's crunch time when I'm grinding. This Adderall got me nauseous. Proceed with caution. Tyler Lane, I'm exhausted.
There's a rumor going around that Tyler Perry and Oprah are beefing. Well, let me tell you about this. Tyler, okay, told Oprah, bitch, if you don't have my money, we're going to have a problem. Ooh. Oprah said, what is the problem? Ooh. You said if I don't have your money, there was going to be a problem. So Oprah is standing her ground like, bitch, I'm in charge. You know, you may have a $250 million studio over there that you film all your shows and movies and stuff on, but I have the empire. That's what Oprah said.
Oh, these are her exact words. Allegedly.
I made this up, but
allegedly.
I made it all up. But there was a rumor that they were beefing. But Tyler confirms that they don't have any issues. So it says it was recently reported on the rumors that was swirling that the twosome were on the outs. over constructive criticism over Perry's show. Well, I got some constructive criticism, and we can be on the outs, Tyler, and I don't give a damn because I'm going to make a promo out of this anyway and share it to your page. I need the scenes on Have and Have Nots to be like 5% shorter, each one. I want you to watch an episode of The Young and the Restless, because this is supposed to be a soap opera. No one's dialogue on The Young and the Restless is like this. You don't have to talk about the random plant in the corner for 25 minutes on one damn scene.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back to Living a Rich Life Talk Show. So this is going to be our final segment. And what I like to do, I call it, we call it the Rich Life Recap.
Okay.
Right? So we talked about kind of the how-tos. Got to know you.
Yeah.
We talked about some of the different avenues and the difference between an event producer and an event planner, which was some good information for me. And you shared with us some of your upcoming events for the holidays.
And CIAA is coming up.
Yes.
So working on that as well.
Oh, yes. Now that's going to be huge.
Big time.
That's going to be huge for the city.
Yep.
Yes, we'll talk about that off air because I want to know how I can.
Okay.
How I can get in on that somehow.
I got you.
There's always some room for that. So we got a few more questions.
Yeah.
Here. We
all right. So how do we prioritize competing project deadlines? I mean, every client is important to me, and everyone is really important in reference to, because I'm a people pleaser, right? Unfortunately, right? To a certain extent, because so that gives me anxiety when I'm like, this has to be super perfect, because this is what I promised. Like, I'm big about my word. This is what I promised to deliver to you. This is what has to happen, right?
Sounds fair if you promise.
Yeah, if I have to stay up late, whatever I have to do, has to be done. Like, I don't believe in I can't do it.
Gotcha. Yeah,
right?
I don't like the word can't.
Yeah, I'm not big. I remember one of my old assistants, she's old. She said, why don't you just tell them you can't do it? No. What? What are you talking about?
Are you kidding me?
I'm looking at her like, this is like $150,000 contract on the line. You're talking about I can't do it. Yes, I can.
I can, and I will.
You know what I mean? So that's things that you kind of have to train your folks to understand, by any means necessary that you will, And I said there's things that are super impossible that you cannot do, but when it was competing deadlines, you have to look at what is prioritizing, like what has to be done, like right away. Certain things when you do events for such a long time, certain things are turnkey. It's not as crazy, and because exactly what the outcome is basically going to be. Right. You've done this a million times. It's the same event, 300 people. Okay, this is what's going to happen. It's not going to fall apart. It's not going to be crazy. This is what's going to happen. Kinda right.
What's going to look like.
So then then and the other things that kind of need a little bit more attention, and that's the ones that you kind of have to prioritize if they need a little bit more attention than the ones that you already know this is what's going to happen. So that's how I kind of weigh what needs. Some things may need a little bit more detail, a little bit more hand holding, because things may go askew. Okay. Right.
All right.
And then I think there's another one about do you use any event software and tools?
Yes.
Yes. So, of course, social tables. It helps you map out and give your clients tables.
Social tables.
Yeah, it's event planning software that helps you when you're planning out what an event looks like for your clients.
Okay.
So that's one. I use Trello, which is not just for events, but just for planning and making sure that everyone is kind of like doing what you need them to do at a certain time and due dates and so forth. So that's been really helpful, managing different projects. It's really more for like event for project management.
Right. I was going to say that because that's an area of my
and of course,
expertise.
there's MailChimp. Of course, there's I still use Constant Contact if I need to send out anything and formatting it the way I need to format.
Mhm.
You know, and some of the other ones, you know, they make you spend a lot of money that you don't necessarily need.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So you gotta like be careful with that, because there was a couple of ones and they didn't support certain form, and I was just like, yeah, why am I gonna spend all this money on this and you know, it you don't necessarily need it.
Right. Okay. So one of the things that we do, because
And we're gonna end on this one too.
We're going to
so.
end on we're going to
Yes.
end on that question. I think that's a fitting question to end on. Normally we end on this question,
Okay.
which is, what does living a rich life mean to you? Right. So we've touched on, as we do the recap, we talked about a little bit about your family. Right. We touched on good health, because again, you never know how long somebody's going to be around. We talked about some financial freedom, which is again just from a paying standpoint. So again, these are my elements, and I think we've kind of rolled all those things up. You do a lot of philanthropy, a lot of philanthropic work, which is wonderful. What would you say, in your words, living a rich life means to you?
A peace of mind.
Ooh, nice. Keep it simple. See, I like it.
Peace of mind.
peace
Ain't
of
nothing beats peace of mind.
Peace of mind.
Right? You know, as you get older, you to me, things have become a lot more simpler for me.
Yeah.
Right? I don't like complicated relationships.
Right.
I don't like complicated friends.
Yep.
I don't like complicated clients.
And the crowd said amen.
I don't like anything. I mean, I said clients are gonna, you know, everybody has different personalities.
Right.
But I said when
ultimately-
it's like fighting against something that you're trying to do.
Right. So it's more of the, hey, conversation.
Yeah, there's
piece
things
of
that there's, you know, I have clients who are demanding, who want this, that, that's great. But then there are clients that you're not sleeping because they're being nasty or
Right,
what.
right.
Yeah, that's not
good.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so
not. That's
living a
yeah.
rich
It's people who
peace of
complicate
mind.
maybe a little hand holding, the massage and what. But then there's people who are nasty
Gotcha.
and feel like if you work for them, or this is what. No.
Right.
This is.
No, we're not doing it that way.
You know what I mean? Or want to talk to you? No, that.
No, what
yeah,
makes
this
you
is-
think? Yeah.
This is. I'm all about peace of mind. If you're not trying to, you know, live a life where it's you just about enjoying life.
Right.
Really enjoying your family and friends and good food and laughs and trips. If you're not about that, you're about talking about being petty, doing that's not kind of
that's not good.
you know, and drama and that's not.
Yeah, well, some
I'm like
people
this.
live
I'm like this. This is not. I remember being in a situation where we were somewhere, a girlfriend that was trying. I was just sitting there like, this is not my life. Like I just really like had a moment. I'm like, this is not my life.
You was around this person.
Yeah, and I was just like, this is not my life. Like this is not my storyline.
Right,
you know what I mean? It's
right,
not my
right.
story. I don't come from this. This is not what I'm going to
Right,
enable.
right. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
So like, had to kind of let go of that friendship because it was too complicated.
Okay. Well, that's what's up. And before, so you want to read this question, or do you want to? Because we can end. We're gonna let you read the question.
Yeah. What is my favorite holiday? So my favorite holiday is Christmas. I love Christmas. I love gift giving. So I really put a lot of thought and effort into like getting gifts for my loved ones. And then, I love the fact of helping others on Christmas. The things that I do during the holiday season, that gives me so much joy. And, family and the food and, just I could go Christmas shopping. Like I have a fetish with like buying Christmas ornaments.
Right. Okay.
And decorating trees. I could go into a Home Goods and like spend $500 on stuff. So I gotta stop myself.
You get some nice ornaments.
Yeah.
So as we close out the show again, I want to thank you for joining.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for joining. I have an event planner coming on next week.
Yes.
Which is gonna be pretty good. So I'm interested. I'm gonna take some of this knowledge you shared.
Okay.
I'm gonna act like I know something.
Okay.
I'm acting
good.
But I'm gonna read something and tell me if this sounds familiar to you.
Okay.
Okay. Our service not only creates, staffs, and provides quality events throughout the region, we build entire experiences for our clients. In turn, their customers and in turn their customers. So we build entire experiences for our clients and in turn their customers. Let us produce your next experience. Does that sound familiar?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, who said that?
I think I said that.
I
On
think
my
you
website.
did.
You grabbed it from my website?
Yes, I did. I tell you, I do a little research. I do a little research.
And guys, like when you have your own business, and what I learned within the last year is making sure you tighten up your vision and your mission statement. Do you have a vision and mission statement?
I do. I do.
So, and it's good to have that in a place that is you're constantly reminded of that, because you can end up, and it's helped me. It's helped me bring on or get rid of employees that were part of that mission and vision.
Yeah. So I do, and but I think it's time to say goodbye.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But it's all right. We had a good time.
That was a fast 2 hours there.
I tell you, that was probably the fastest, but I had fun.
Good.
I'm glad you came.
I'm glad.
And next week, we do have Troy Horton Jones, Timeless Events Entertainment.
Okay.
So next week, tune in, Living a Rich Life talk show here on BeExposedRadio.com. Thank you for watching. Thank you again for joining.
See you guys.
All righty. Don't hurt nobody.
Thought you gonna have my money today.
Man, it is what it is.
Then last week you told me your wife was cooking.
Man, it is what it is.
Then again, I don't think I want your wife cooking because you don't like it.
Well, it is